We are?
Yes, we are live.
Cool.
Welcome to Into the Melding, a Firefall podcast presented by sittingonacouch.com. I am Lemons.
I'm Nakiato. Some of you guys know me, some of you don't. I am pretty much one of Firefall's only YouTubers that continues to make videos. I do guides, tips, so on and so forth, and live streams, actually. So if you gotta check that out, it's actually right below my picture right here.
And I'm Terracon4. I do the Dev Tracker weekly roundup on Reddit, try and keep up to date on news and help people whenever I can.
And I'm Scary Booster. I'm a blogger. I blog at scarybooster@blogspot.com, and I stream at Twitch TV/ScaryBooster, and I blog exclusively from my mobile phone.
Nice.
That is skills right there, ladies and gentlemen.
For 5 years now.
Damn.
Okay, so the topic of today's show is the health of the game and what really is going wrong with the game right now and why it's maybe not doing as well as maybe it should be. And first thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at the Steam charts. How well is it doing? We don't know how many people are not using Steam, but we do know how many people are using Steam, and we can probably estimate I'm going to say about 2/3 are probably using Steam, because a lot of people use Steam.
Well, it's hard to say. There's some reasons why people don't use Steam in general. For one, they don't like Steam. Well, this is some people. One, some people just don't like Steam. Two, Steam has been having some problems the past week or so about logging into your Firefall account. So when that happens, you have to disable Steam in some way, shape, or form, which also disables that tracking. So you're automatically losing quite a few players in that process. Some people that play multiple accounts, they can't use Steam, so they avoid Steam because of that, so they just use the regular launcher. We don't really know what the real statistics are. Now, I know that's just me using the whole Steam thing as a scapegoat, but we don't really know how well it's doing at this point, not until Red 5 actually gives us some statistics. I would say it's not doing terrible. At least it's been keeping most of the players that it's had. So
Yeah, well, but if you look, about Wednesday of last week, they had 1,000 players. Wednesday of this week, they had 10,000 players. Wednesday of this week, they only had 9,400. That might not seem like much, but it seems like, they seem to be holding on pretty well, but I also see some people losing, and they might still be gaining some people because a lot of people still haven't played yet. But we're only looking at about 8,000 people, so, at one time, I think the max we probably could be seeing is, I'm thinking, 30,000 at the very max. And that's still not, but that, we don't know exactly how many people are playing, how many accounts are active, so on and so forth, how many people have played in the last week, or whatever.
yeah.
Because I know that's, it's just, and it's not doing, it looks to be like it's not doing horribly. But there definitely is this thing of, it's a great game to start out in, and then it starts to get maybe even a little bit grindy for some people.
Well, that's MMOs in general. So that's a common misconception when it comes to this game. Firefall it's a shooter. It is. Don't get me wrong, but it is also an MMO at heart. Like through and through, this game was built to be a combination of the two. So a lot of people that are coming in thinking, "Oh, cool! Look at it, sci-fi, colorful themed shooter." Not necessarily. It's also an MMO, so it's going to have a lot of those MMO tropes. So I can see why some people might be put off by that, but yeah.
I think they're missing a little bit on the shooter. Yes, it's an MMO, but there's so many MMOs out there. The key phrase for MMO is used for games like Call of Duty and stuff like that. You have all these MMOs out there that are using that, and they're not really truly MMOs. And then you have, like you said, they have this game that's a shooter. You shoot, and that's the first thing people are going to see as a shooter. And that compares to games like Doom, Quake, Call of Duty, Unreal, Far Cry. And people are getting into this game thinking it's a shooter. This is exactly the same as Defiance. Defiance is an MMO, and they had trouble with their player base in the beginning the same way because people want a shooter. And Defiance, I think, does a better job at the shooter, even though their camera view is horrible looking at the guy's butt the way that you do. It's just horrible. But the shooter, if Defiance went with a more shooter aspect of the camera view, perfect. But the problem with Firefall is they're forgetting the shooter and trying to work on the MMO. The shooter is, what do people do when they play a shooter? They want to kill things. That's the point of a shooter, is to kill things. And a lot of the reviews that I've been reading about Firefall have been the walking around, the not much to do, or going from one quest to the other hub. I played yesterday. I went yesterday, and I went from one tower to the next tower and didn't see a single thing to kill. I threw a thumper down and purposefully killed myself so I could res and come back to all kinds of monsters around my thumper, so I could just go wild and shoot everything that was in it, because it's a shooter. That's what you do. You shoot things. And I don't want an MMO. I want a shooter that I can play with other people, and that's what Firefall they should focus on, a shooter that you can play with other people. Forget the stupid MMO. Everybody's going to be MMO. You want a shooter. You want to kill things. I've been playing this game for several years. I was back in alpha, and they've with the thumpers, they started out hardcore. The thumpers, you would die within seconds if you didn't have help. And then they went to the thumpers of being easy. It was boring. And then they went back to hardcore in the beta, when it started open beta. And then they went back to, I just threw my thumper down, and it's not enough. I want to kill things, and it's a shooter, and you should kill things like Doom and Quake and Unreal. That's what keeps people interested, is killing things in a shooter.
Have you thrown down a personal 3 thumper yet?
Not by myself.
Okay, yeah, no.
I did do a 1.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, if you are looking for a hardcore version, the personal thumper 3, dear God, that shit gets a little tough.
Yeah, those personal thumbers. I mean, as you go up in the personal thumbers, and I understand that you have a lot of crafting that you need to do to make these thumpers, but the guy that's going to get his stock thumper out there, and he's going to walk from one tower to the next tower to some watchtower, and he's not going to kill anything in between. He's going to throw down this thumper for some action. He's going to throw it down, and it's going to be trickling, these monsters slowly trickling in as you go. And it's like, that's the only action you really can get in the game right now. I mean, or you can go to Ares missions, which is a huge trek.
They are so boring.
The other side.
To be completely honest, they are really boring.
Well, actually, they just said that on the forums today, the Ares missions are going to be ramping up in
difficulty.
Not difficulty. They're going to be ramping up in spawn rate next week, probably like next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
In the next
yeah,
patch.
See, because apparently they had fixed the Ares missions, but I didn't see them spawning like all the time. Like I didn't notice a huge difference between the release patch and the patch that's most recent now. We will be getting into that, and we'll be kind of looking at that and looking at some of the changes. I didn't see a huge difference though. What I want to be able to do is I want to look at my map and always be able to find something next to do.
Yeah.
A tornado, a mission, crash thumper, something.
Just chosen raids are my favorite.
Yeah, I want to be able to kill stuff. I want to be able to go from event to event to event, because that's the fun part. In my opinion, the jobs are boring.
I haven't seen since launch. I haven't seen a tornado, so I don't. They're in the other zones or something. I've been piddling around because I'm so used to the beginner zone. I'm like level 19 fire cat, and I got 9 other frames, and I just love like shooting things all over the place, and I like that kind of stuff. But I haven't seen in the beginner zone. I don't know if did they take the tornadoes out of the beginner zone?
No, they still spawn. I've run into a couple.
I haven't seen one yet. So that I mean
Their
that's
spawn rate
I
is
think
really
I've
down.
seen 4
Yeah.
so far, and my max level's
Yeah,
20.
when it comes to the dynamic content, that's exactly what they were talking about in the post that I read. That they actually had to rewrite a lot of the dynamic content code in order to increase the spawn rates because it's actually bugged right now. So
that's good. I mean, I kind of poked at him a little bit today on Twitter. I was
you and a
talking.
lot of people.
Well, no, I poked at him about. I threw him a picture of Starship Troopers because that's what I see as like a shooter. Is you go outside your base and you just murder things as you go, and that's that's fun. I understand as a game you can't constantly throw because that's get frustrating if you have to constantly kill things, but maybe just a wee bit more, just a little bit more.
Yeah, there definitely needs to be an increase. It doesn't need to be outrageous though, just because when you increase it too much, you're just going to stress the shit out of those servers, and the servers that have to run the AI when they get taxed, which we've seen plenty of times in beta, when they get taxed, it sucks.
Yeah,
it makes that AI even less fun to play. So
yeah.
Well, have you guys visited Copacabana recently?
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah.
Have you been like it's that like main pathway right outside Copa?
The main one heading down south towards Sunken Harbor?
North.
North?
Towards
going up north?
the
Yeah.
next area. If you look there, sometimes there will be a constant spawn of Crash Thumpers and LVGs, mostly Thumpers. That's the kind of stuff I would actually be okay with. It's constant. I can constantly go from point to point, and I can keep leveling up quickly because there's always events to be doing. There's none of this. I'm walking around for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a game that relies on dynamic content to keep you entertained,
Right.
but right now, because of the Ares jobs, they have toned down dynamic content as well as the bug. So it's just a lot of the time there isn't much to keep you entertained for a while, and if you're just spending 5 minutes bored, it adds up.
Yeah.
See, and I'd be okay with if they just removed the jobs altogether. I would be perfectly okay with that.
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
See,
They need to,
I hate
in my
the
opinion,
jobs. I
tweak
can't
how
stand
they
them.
interfere with the Ares missions, but they're a good option. I like some of them. I love some of them. The problem is when they're all that you have in an area. Like right now in Devil's Tusk, that's the Conlo Research Station. There's pretty much just a couple of jobs that are just repeating the same ones, with one exception, but that's because it's currently a bugged, broken job for me. So I'm tired of those jobs. I did the same jobs every day for several days in a row. I just want to go out. I want to find chosen raids. I want to kill them. I want to go destroy incursions. But the problem is when I'm looking for that, there's just not nearly enough of it spawning. There's like every half hour, okay, there's maybe an incursion or a tornado. I don't really care too much for the tornadoes right now because they have a ton of health, and a lot of the time other people aren't going for them, and the rewards are still not really worth it in my opinion. The general chosen just killing parties are, fun to massacre, but everyone else hunts after them instantly too. So
Yeah,
they need more.
The loot for the NATOs it's okay, but it's definitely not great, and it really sucks. I had one tornado where there was probably 3 or 4 of us sitting there taking it out. We're spamming in zone chat. Please come help the tornado. Please come help the tornado. And we get it down low, and then it just disappears, and all of us were like,
That's happened
What?
at least half the time I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
if people don't show up, you just don't get it done. It's not there's not like the tornado is spewing out all of its resources, so you get less rewards, whatever. It's either all or nothing, as far as I can tell.
And there's no way to tell. It's like you could be there with 5 other people all at once, but for all you know, there's only 2 minutes left on the
I would like some
And
kind of warning
I would
telling
like a
you.
timer.
Yeah,
See,
what I
that-
liked was how they used to have it so that the shards didn't have that shield mechanism, so everyone would just focus one shard. That meant that you could very quickly get rid of one shard, and if you destroy a shard, it would reset the thing's timer so it would
Right.
stay active. The problem is, since they made that change with the shield that only lets you attack one, it generally means that you'll end up having to slowly degrade all of them, so that doesn't keep it active. So they need to figure out when people are attacking it, and use that as the way to extend the timer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so someone in chat says they also don't have any PvP for me to play. I'm only level 30, and there is no fun PvP. The PvP zone, I heard, is very bad and doesn't work.
That is a yes. That is true.
The game
That's
almost completely lacks PvP. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, especially with the removing of Sunken Harbor. Sunken Harbor PvP was removed 2 days ago now. So now that PvP is all completely gone except for Broken Peninsula, there is absolutely nothing. So it's broken. It's broken, but there's ways to get around how broken it is. Like for every mistake or for every broken feature in there, there is a way to glitch something to
break
continue
it
to play.
Unbreak it with more breaking.
Exactly. Yeah. No. That's how me and everybody else from like AOD have been running around in that area, because when you use technically exploits to play in this area, then you can still do everything there. In fact, you can do a little bit more than you should be able to do. Like I don't know, using SR3 Thumper with only 4 people inside of MGVs, all on the turrets, just shooting at everything. There's no reason why that should work. That shouldn't work at all. But you can. It's fun. But no, I agree. Arena PvP needs to come back. I like open world. It can be entertaining, but the arena PvP
among other things,
Firefall,
you need a lot of people.
Yeah, you need a lot of
right
people
now,
that actually make the zone
the massive
fun.
numbers of people. Most of the time I go in, I feel like I'm the only person there, or there's just like one group of 2 or 3 other people roaming around who will occasionally try and hunt me. There aren't enough people, it seems, right now for it. That or it's just spreading people across too many separate instances.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see PvP be an alternate way of leveling. If you get bored of PvE, you should be able to hop into PvP, win a few matches, and get a level up.
Yeah.
PvP used to be the best way for XP.
Yeah.
I would like to see that as well. There are a lot of people that do like just straight up shooter mechanics, and they like PvP and don't like PvE. So when they're stuck in this fun a mechanically fun game, PvP wise, they're stuck grinding PvE mobs, and they don't want to play that.
And
so.
More importantly, they're stuck just running between the places to grind the PvE mobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you look at all the different MMOs and shooters that are out there for PvE and PvP, the game that is the most popular, and World of Warcraft started this, and each one, battlegrounds are the most popular. You have Call of Duty that has their battlegrounds. These are the most popular. The world, you go to Wintergrasp, there's hardly any people. Even in Lich King, in the beginning, there was people have to, after a while, gravitate towards this. Guild Wars 2, I spent lots of time in the Elder Scrolls Online, and it was empty. I spent hours in their whatever place the PvP is. I forgot the name of it. I didn't play that long.
Yeah.
I don't think I
but walked.
Oh.
I walked for hours and hours and didn't kill anybody. There was nobody that died. And it's one of those things that you have to have the structured PvP, just like Guild Wars 2 has their structured PvP, which they have contests and stuff, and they have tournaments. People want to watch these, and I know it goes back to the days of their Jet Ball, which I loved. I don't see the problem in it. I have actually. If you click on my Twitch TV /Scary Booster, there's a Jet Ball back in the day. So I played PvP in Firefall, and it was my favorite thing. I spent hours and hours. I got the title. I got the last title from the PvP in that because it was fun. Even though, yes, it was broken, but it was fun. It was fun to do.
Whoa.
So, yeah, he went offline.
Yeah, no, it like
Reset.
got really blurry, so I turned it off, turned it back on, and
okay.
It fixed it. Now it unfixed it. So I
Yeah.
don't know what's up with my webcam, but it's slow.
Sorry, I went off. But the PvP has to be a structured thing for people to get into it. If you have a game like Firefall that's just starting out, that was in beta as long as it was, it needs to be structured. They've tried the Sunken Harbor before, when it was in beta, and it didn't work. I went in there, I was all excited for this world PvP. Not a single person walked into those little areas. Again, when it went launch and they put Sunken Harbor, I walked back in there, waited in the middle, not a single person to kill. They just sat there. And I went to the other PvP area, didn't find a single person for hours. I mean, there are people out there, but I mean, I did run into a couple people after, a couple play sessions, but the structure, the easy mode, the looking for group, that thing where you click a button and bam, you're fighting, you're killing, and it goes back to, it's a shooter. You need to kill things. And if it's not monsters, it's other people. To keep people interested in a shooter, they have short attention spans. I mean, they got to kill people. Look at Destiny. It's coming up. It's got shooter aspects. You got to kill people. They have the arena. They have the battleground. They have that quick. The Crucible is quick. You pop in, you kill, and that's what they need. They need this. They need to go back to the old pop in and kill. The code's there. They can just put them right back in there and fix the PvP as it goes.
Yeah. The code is technically there, like as in the maps
a lot of
and
stuff
whatnot,
has changed. They'd have to readjust.
Yeah, there is a lot that has changed in how classes work and so on and so forth. So in order
not just
to
balance, though, they've changed a lot of the core code with the 1.0 patch.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've bothered porting all their old instance code over to work with it too.
So. Well, the basics, the foundation is not all the technicalities of stuff that I don't know because I just say stuff and not really do anything with computers.
They're a lot better than starting from scratch. They've got a lot of the stuff there.
Yes.
The maps are built. They might have to be rebuilt in the engine to work with whatever if they've changed their formats, but they've got most of the stuff there. But the problem is that now, frames move at different speeds. We have AoE everywhere. It's unbearable. Like, sabotage, at first, way back, there was not very much AoE. You'd have a group of 10 people versus 10 people, and it was usually you'd have a really nice 1 versus 1 person, or when you're in a team fight, even as the Assault, the AoE master, you'd be focusing on 1 person at a time, or 2 if they're in a tight corridor right next to each other. But then it got to the point that it's 1 person comes in and clears an entire room by throwing poison everywhere, or dropping on a Nova.
Which
75-meter AoE bugs aside, it still got to the point that it's too much. And with this last 1.0, they've made a lot of changes that can push that as well. So they're going to have to do the balance a lot. Otherwise, a lot of people go, yay, it's fun, but then you're also going to have a lot of massive instant raging. So they have to be careful, but they have to reintroduce it quick, in my opinion. But they have to, make sure that it's working.
Well, people were raging before with the PvP. The PvP is a very rage-oriented thing. Yeah. I mean, I play Smite and I play a lot of PvP. And when I was in WildStar, you would think, people with the fairy colors and the bunny ears and the little rats that run around, you'd think they would be happy. No, boy, they get angry. I mean, if it's not going their way, they start typing away. So, yeah, if there's any kind of PvP, you have to see those kind of players, those alpha males or alpha females. I don't know what. Yeah, either way, they're going to be angry, no matter if it's balanced or not balanced. It's never going to be balanced ever, and people just need to learn to accept that PvP is never balanced. Real world is never balanced.
It's the difference between being balanced and the part that right now, if they were to introduce a recluse, could literally keep the entrances to the spawns locked. So if someone walks out, they're instantly snared and instantly dead. Stuff like that would be just too far broken, so they'd have to deal with those things before they bring it in. But
yeah, I think PvP it definitely needs to be worked on, but I think that we've talked enough about it and that we can move on. So they recently released a patch. The big patch they released in the last couple of weeks was the one where they kind of balanced a lot of things. And let's talk about this real quick. We reviewed and updated the Dragonfly's Healing Ball and Healing Pillow abilities. Did anybody try this since the update?
Yeah.
Is it better or worse? What did they change? Because that was very ambiguous.
It's annoying. So they reduced the speed. They didn't reduce the speed by a ton, but they reduced the speed, and I got so used to the way that ball moves that I'm just like, oh, god damn it. And then also, they nerfed the damage that it does. Dragonfly damage does not need to be nerfed. Honestly, we already have a hard time killing shit, and you're just nerfing our only AoE abilities. I mean, like, no, don't do that. Don't. You just don't want me to play this game. Stop it. But So they made it so when you hit someone and they're in the center of the ball, it damages them for the full amount. But if they're on the outskirts of the ball, then it damages them for like, I don't know, like half or something like that. I can't remember the exact number right now. But they also threw a buff on it where when you hit them with the healing ball, it shoots them away. So it's like a knockback, like healing wave.
Okay.
I don't care for any more knockbacks. I already have 2 knockbacks, and my secondary fire is a knockback that I can constantly just spam. So I don't need any more knockbacks. Like, I'm good there. Give me my damage back. Take that stupid knockback back. But
so they kind of messed things up, in your opinion, then.
I wouldn't say it's messed up. They changed it in a way that I do not like, but that's just because I'm used to how it played before.
Okay, fair enough. Nighthawks now deal headshot damage to all enemies. That's kind of vague because if you can't headshot an enemy as a Nighthawk, which the whole thing about Nighthawks is getting headshots, that thing's not going to die very quickly. So I think that was definitely a good change. I don't think anybody's going to complain except for maybe in PvP when somebody gets headshotted by a Nighthawk and gets 1 hit because they have no defensive abilities.
I wouldn't necessarily
It'll
say
happen
that
just
it'd
as
be
easily
one
with
shot.
Recluse at that
Oh,
point.
no, wait. That's the Raptor that they have a problem with because it charges
Yeah,
up its team
Raptor.
default thing and just 5 billion damage. Okay. Players summoned deployables, turret stations, etc. now have increased health pools. This was one of the big problems that engineers had when the game launched, because everything you placed, unless you placed it in a crazy location, it died pretty much instantly if you weren't watching it.
Yeah. That was definitely a good fix. They needed to increase the health on the turrets and everything. Those were dying way too quick.
Players can have multiple sentinel pods. What are sentinel pods? Remind me again.
Sentinel pods are the pods that heal deployables like turrets.
Okay.
They also can damage an enemy around them.
Yeah, and then also
They don't have
snare
a
and
shield.
slow targets that run through it as well.
Okay. Is that a specific subclass or advanced
That's the
strain?
Bastion.
Okay, that's why I've not seen it because I don't have a Bastion. Okay. Added player spawn rooms to... Oh, is that... Okay, so that must just be Tecumseh Air Base and FOB Sagan. So that must just be more spawn locations for when you die or when you log into the game.
Yeah.
Which is... It's always nice to have a little bit closer accuracy. Epic resources are now available on Broken Peninsula. That makes it a lot more worthwhile to play Broken Peninsula. Even in its broken state.
The problem is that still hasn't been enough to get me to bother going back to it much more. I still dropped into it once, didn't see anyone, didn't see any resources immediately, so I just went back and returned to thumping and DT.
Well, and I think part of the problem right now is that Broken Peninsula, and there's not a whole lot of people with level 40 frames yet.
Yeah, most of the people with level 40. There are some new people.
There's
that
a good
have level
number.
40s, but the thing about it is, a lot of the people that hit 40 already are mostly vets that have been playing for a while, so they might just simply be burnt out already. And then also because we only have that one PvP area, that means that a lot of older players that did like PvP just aren't in the game right now. So it's an empty area because of missteps like taking out PvP. So
yeah. I think it's a good step in the right direction, but they definitely still need to encourage people more to use PvP, unlock more PvP, even if they could have an arena that only lasted for 3 levels or something.
Broken
so that
Peninsula just needs more. Broken Peninsula just needs more rewards. You have to reward their players for their time, and actually, that's one thing that Phobos pointed out on Reddit. Someone was trying to defend Red 5, and he was just like, "No, this person is right." One of the things that we are having a problem with right now is just it doesn't feel like we're rewarding you for your time spent in the game. So they're looking at ways to make it so that your time is valued in game. I don't know how or what what they're gonna do with that, but they are looking into it. Rewards definitely need to be increased in Broken Peninsula to make that zone even slightly viable. maybe instead of just stupid thumping rewards, actually make it mean something to capture bases, because capturing bases is a big portion of it, but the only thing I really get when I capture a base is I get to spawn a vehicle, and I get to spawn there.
And if you take over an entire base, you get 1 piece of gear. Unless they change that.
I don't care about
Just
any of that.
They need to have things like,
and then nobody will complain.
for destroying the generators, taking over each building, give something like that. Make it so if you're defending your base and there's other people there, because right now there's no reason to defend. So have that, unless you have some people out thumping. But if your teammates are out thumping, getting the resources that are going to be coming back to this base to be returned, why are you caring to defend the base? It's not like you're the person who had those resources put in there. You're spending your time not getting any rewards so that other people can get their reward. But if you don't do that, then those people are unlikely to get their reward. So the whole system's just built so it's really hard to actually get any rewards.
So we almost have this whole, for people who play Guild Wars 2, there's what's called Edge of the Mists, and it's really great for leveling, and a lot of people, they just come in these giant groups of Zogs, of people. There's probably 20 or 30 people in the Zog, and they just run around taking bases, because it's the most efficient. People don't, it's not that they don't ever defend, but a lot of times people don't defend their bases because there's no reason to. It gives you a lot more rewards to just take bases and then have somebody take it back 5 minutes later, and then you take it back 5 minutes later, versus thing. And that's kind of counterintuitive. What you really want is to reward players maybe even more for defending your bases, so that the more bases that you have, the harder it is to defend. But then, because you're defending, you're getting better rewards than if you were capturing them.
Like almost like a token or a prestige ticker. The more that you're defending it, it ticks. I forgot what game that does that. The longer you stay there and defend it, the more points that you get. It slowly ticks, like 1, 2. It doesn't multiply, but as you're staying there, you get rewarded for it. It's almost like money, but it's a PvP. Well, not a PvP, but it's a currency that you can use to buy gear. If they're not going to drop gear like a loot pinata like Borderlands, give points, for somebody that's going to stay there and actually defend a base that, against Chosen or whatever, or PvP against other players. Give a little ticker, have a PvE one and have a PvP. It works both ways on either side of it.
At the same time, it's a little bit difficult to balance that. People just AFKing in that zone, gaining up points, because it's an open world zone. So yeah, squatting is always a problem. I mean, all games you have squatters that they build programs to sit there and run in circles so they can squat a match or something. I mean, you're gonna have people that do that, and that's why you shouldn't give a lot of points for somebody that's staying at a base, defending a base. You shouldn't give
do stuff like bonus points rewarded for killing people at your base. Things that just provide
stuff
bonuses
like that,
for the general tasks that you're doing.
But just
squatting should never
spot.
be. Yeah, squatting should never be rewarded, but actually doing stuff like have. There's games where you have to touch certain things that build walls and you get points for building walls to make it strong. Of course, this game isn't meant for building walls, but that's an example of kind of moving around so it gets away from the squatters.
One example is whenever you have a generator destroyed, you have to repair said generator. Reward me for repairing the generator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something stupid like that. Reward me for throwing down turrets around my base. Because there's those too. So just stop. Anything for small stuff like that would be nice.
A reason to care.
Exactly.
I just can't
reward.
Two kind of ideas. One, maybe they should implement something similar to Guild Wars 2's World v World rank, where the longer you spend in World v World, the more things you do in World v World, your rank goes up. So therefore, as you play more and more and more, you feel rewarded because you keep seeing your rank go up and up and up and up and up. I think that could be very beneficial to people who like to play, open world PvP a lot. But that's just me. What do you guys think?
That's more just a mentality thing, but it's not a bad
it can
idea.
help. For some people, it can help a lot, but for your average person, it probably won't be as big of a deal.
Well, and then that also gives little checkpoints for rewards, because if you give a small reward, a couple pieces of gear and let's say 1,000 credits every single time you rank up or whatever.
Yeah,
that's.
I wouldn't mind some kind of rank system. A rank system would be nice. I don't know. I find it frustrating with open world PvP just because it's open world and you can use any gear that you want and so on and so forth. So there's not really an incentive to staying in there. In Guild Wars, it's basically, you know, the gear that you get. It's just for looks and stuff like that, except for the trinkets and whatnot, because everybody is up-leveled to be the same level there. So it doesn't matter what level you are or anything like that. Whereas in Broken Pen, if you go in there and you're not level 40, you're screwed. So,
I've been one-shotting people with a minigun, for crying out loud. That's one bullet. That shouldn't one-shot someone.
Yeah, no, I've done that too. I went in there as a dragonfly, and it was just like, beep, beep. Oh, okay, yeah.
Sorry about that.
He's
That's
dead.
interesting.
Just
Well,
one
that was
healing
easy.
wave. Oh,
It's not even
yeah.
fun. It's just like shooting crabs on the beach.
Yeah, I find shooting crabs more fun than shooting underleveled players.
Do you know what I think would be a really cool addition to the game? PvPvE. It was done in Aeon, and I think it definitely could be applied to Firefall. You have red team and blue team, but then you also have purple team, the Chosen. And so but the Chosen would be powerful enough that you would have to work together. If you end up fighting the other team, you end up losing the base, and then it's covered by Melding, and you have to fight back the Melding to uncover the area, kill all the Chosen inside the base, and capture the base. But if you work together to kill the Chosen, then you can then turn on the other enemy, and you can actually fight the other team for the base.
I'd say it'd be easier to scale that if people are pushing back too hard, it just spawns more Chosen from the edge of the map that they come in from. And frankly, melding coverage is, well, it can be a nice, interesting mechanic. The problem is it gets rid of playable space, and you can't run in there and fight back. So better yet, just have the Chosen, you know, drop turrets, drop their stuff all over the place, and literally just set up gun positions everywhere. Because if I jump into a Chosen-held base, I don't want it to be the type of situation where, you know, like, you've got, okay, one turret over here, one turret over here, you're getting shot by like 2 or 3 random enemies, and you just jet around and you're good, you kill 5 guys and you're done. It should be like you jump up onto the walls of a giant base that's been taken over by the Chosen, you've got 1,000 bullets coming at you from every direction. That's how it should go.
And it really should benefit people who actually, you know, go over to the, I don't know if chat works cross teams, but like have a cross team chat and just be like, hey
Zone,
guys,
there's zone.
ceasefire, let's take over this, let's kill the Chosen, and then we'll fight over the base once the Chosen have been completely. And obviously there would probably be some type of, you know, it's purple when it's covered by Chosen, or black or whatever, and then as soon as it turns white, it's open, then they immediately, you know, turn on the other teams, and whichever team has more people, or whoever.
Or right before it actually stops being Chosen,
Right.
one team tries to backstab, or they end up collapsing because and then the Chosen just retake it. But yeah, it's
That's
more
key
interesting. The key part is
mechanics.
that there's always the Chosen, so there's always something to do in that zone, even if you don't have the other players in at least any numbers to fight. Like right now, can be an issue.
And there's strategy in that. It's not just your simple, let's go take this base. It's, should we attack early and risk the Chosen coming back and taking it, or should we wait and then take it when thing? That is strategy, that is options, that is, you know, thinking ahead. And I think we definitely need more commandos, more of that kind of stuff.
I would
Well,
I would say yes and no. Yes, it would be fun. Don't get me wrong. I think that would be fantastic. But one of the things that I would see as a problem is there are a lot of people that like PvP or PvE and PvP only. They utterly hate PvP. That would be a really, really fun way to do some form of PvE. You're going to screw those people that will not touch PvP zones because they're not going to go there. And they're going to say something along the lines of, that's a Chosen Warfront, and I can't play that Chosen Warfront because I don't want to go to a PvP zone. You failed me. That sounds like something that should be in DT without the PvP aspect.
Honestly, I'm just saying that because I'm wanting some type of Chosen Warfront, and they've not done it in DT. But arguably, they should have a primary Warfront in PvE, but having it so there's an area in PvP, or at least one PvP. But then that gets to splitting the player base a lot, so...
To be fair, they haven't pushed back that last part of it, so we don't know, you know, what that is going to look like. That might be the Warfront.
Some of the comments that the
So-
devs have said, though, are that it's pretty much a done-and-taken area. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be...
Don't
See,
know.
I would like to see a big map where it's literally just you in the center, and there's like melding all around, and you slowly take back. But then as you get more area, it's also harder to hold that area. But for instance, if you're holding that area, it rewards you by holding the area as much as it does actually taking more land from the melding.
Yeah, well, and that's some of the original plans. It's just
they have to actually have people make it and make it work.
Yeah. Well, they've had problems with that aspect of the melding for the years. I've asked about the melding, and they've had I've asked, well, when are you going to have the melding be able to push back? And they've tried it. They put a raid boss behind the melding, and it's been glitching and having problems. So I don't know how much of this that they can do right now. I mean, I don't know if it's their hardware or what, but they've had problems with the melding. I mean, like you guys said, it's a great concept. The melding is a great concept, and that's what got me excited about the game is, I get to push this back, and that's almost like my reward. My reward is making the world bigger, but they had problems. That's why they started making these instances like Diamond Head and the other ones that they got rid of, which now it's Devil's Tooth or whatever. But they started making them, Devil's Tusk. Man, I'm horrible with names. But I just go there and I shoot things. That's why I'm a fire cat. I blow things up, things light on fire, and that's all I do. So it's the melding. They've had problems with it. It's a great mechanic, but they've had a lot of problems, and I don't know how far they've gotten of getting rid of those problems, but I still see it as one of their problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move away from PvP because we've been talking about PvP for a long time.
Well, we're coming up on an hour. Did we want to do a little section where we talk to whoever's in chat?
Let's see what Wizard of COC is saying. The gear thing is tough with non-breakable gear too. You keep throwing gear out of the market, will saturate over time. Yes, to a certain extent, a lot of the better gear is staying, and the older gear is getting salvaged. I will admit that. I don't really know how to. I hate the idea of breakable gear, but I don't really know how to take it out of the market otherwise.
So, when it comes to that, it's easy. Throw in other professions. Throw in other professions that would benefit from salvage gear materials. I mentioned this before in an old video that I did, but throw in something like enchanting. Call it something else, obviously. Call it something sci-fi-ish. But throw in enchanting that requires, mats from salvaged gear, and then bam, you automatically have something that goes towards the economy flow. You have something to use destroyed gear on. You have a reason to keep on destroying gear other than, I just need research points.
Yeah, I think they need to tone down the research requirements, but also add in stuff that you can only get from rare gear and some things that you can only get from epic gear, which then can be built into legendary gear, maybe even.
There's supposed to be rare blueprints and stuff that you can get, but I don't know if that's been turned on because I hear it get mentioned every so often, but I have personally not seen any of it.
Yeah, I don't think that's been turned on yet.
Yeah. So they really need a reason to get rid of high-level gear, like Guild Wars 2. Sorry, I keep coming back to this, but it works really well.
You play off of what you know.
Yeah.
That's why I keep on talking about WoW.
Me and Scary Booster, correct me if I'm wrong, but me and you have played a lot of MMOs.
Mm-hmm. Yes, a lot. All of them.
So, I mean, I can bring some of the stuff from other games that I know of. And one thing that Guild Wars 2 does really well is when you salvage high-level gear, you get gobs of ectoplasm. Gobs of ectoplasm are used all the time. They are super useful. They have a good, constant money that they're worth. And so it really pays off to salvage, rare gear. It salvages to pay off exotic gear. It pays to salvage that stuff. It's not just, I salvage it and I get nothing out of it.
Yeah, you get those special mats.
Right now, when you salvage gear, all that you can do with the stuff that you're salvaging is put it into research points and to get the parts to make more gear. It's kind of self-defeating, in my opinion. After a certain point, when I've got most of the good gear I want, I don't care about the crafting anymore. There's literally nothing to be gotten from that. Yeah. And next, how slow and, in some cases, unreliable crafting is right now, a problem in itself, it makes it even less rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
You know what does really good about diverting people is Borderlands 2. It's a loot pinata, and it doesn't, and Diablo does this too, and WoW does it also. These games that they've found this formula that people want to be rewarded, and whether it be gear or what, you have loot pinatas, and with the gear problem right now is it goes and you get research points, and that's all you get. So people are going in, they're salvaging, they're getting research points, and then there's this huge treadmill that you go on. But if you have the loot pinata and you have gear just flowing, and this treadmill seems a little bit less because you're actually getting rewarded with stupid stuff like WoW drops like wolf tails. It's not worth anything, but it gives you money, and or you hides and stuff like that. And Borderlands 2 does this where you kill something, stuff showers you, and just like Diablo 3, that's why it's so popular. It showers you with gear. I'm not saying that much, but this treadmill of crafting gear and stuff is so much, and that there's like you need so much research points, and like you said, there's a stopping point. Why should I do this anymore? Why should I do this anymore? It does take a long time, but you want to reward your players with stuff, and getting the minor stuff of getting the Christi and getting gear here and there. It's just the players hunger for more. They hunger for more killing, more gear, more everything.
What I'd say to World of Warcraft was that what it did well was you've got blacksmithing, you're enchanting, and all those professions where they have stuff that they can use, and then they can meet other people in the world and actually buff and help improve those people's equipment through their abilities. However, only a few actual pieces of gear are really the high-end stuff that can be crafted. What happened with the majority of the actual gear itself was, well, those systems meant that you had something to do when you were salvaging and breaking the stuff down. It meant that you had the key advantage of being able to actually go and get gear through content. Buying gear off the market isn't the funnest thing. Playing content to feel rewarded, that's what I like. And right now, Firefall doesn't quite do that.
Yeah.
And I think the problem with crafting is there's no reason to craft over just waiting for the loot to drop. If you could, for instance, if I could guarantee that I'm going to get a certain prefix on a certain weapon that I'm crafting. For instance, if I know if I go down the tree to purple, and I know that purple gear is going to have long mag prefix or whatever, that makes it worthwhile if I know I want that exact prefix to actually go down the tree, because right now you can just wait for the loot to drop for the most part, and it's probably going to be less work than actually going down the tree and spending all the points. Crafting is too expensive, and there's no real reason to do it. So that is one of the big problems there. And someone had posted on the Firefall forums, I don't know if you guys had seen this, but there's a big post about what all that's wrong with Firefall, and just lists off. There's not enough events, it's not interesting enough, the crafting is crap, and he's right. I mean, I can't hate him for being right.
To be fair, there's one of those posts every other day, so...
Yeah, there's a lot of those. But there was a good, well-organized one that had a lot of well-written arguments and points.
Yeah. No, and I'm glad when people point that stuff out, because as much as I do like the game, there are things that do need to be fixed. Increasing dynamic content, yes, needs to be fixed. Throwing in arena PvP, yes, needs to be in there. Being rewarded for my time needs to be in there. Maybe instead of having in the wheelhouse quest where you get the, crappy LGV at level 25, throw that in a level 10 area or something, it's just to help that early grind out. Now, I played WoW, and you couldn't get a fucking mount until level 40, so people that complain about that in Firefall, screw you, but to be fair, people nowadays are more,
I'd also say that with how WoW was organized, with the mobs out in the world and how you run on for your quests between the hubs, it did not need to have mounts in the same way that Firefall does.
Oh, there were times when you would have really, really wanted them. Trust me.
Oh, there were parts that I wanted them, by all means.
But at least
it could work generally in most areas.
So the main reason why that doesn't or why it hurts a little bit more in Firefall is because of how the jobs are. They are dynamically done. When you pick up a job, it dynamically sends you to your next point. All of the dialogue and everything is already preconceived. That's already all planned out. But the mobs and where you have to go, those are randomized so that, you know, you're not going to the same spot every time you do that, because all of the quests are repeatable. So every time you pick it up, you're not going to the same spot and killing the same damn thing every single time.
Depends on the quest.
Well, yeah, it depends on the quest. There's a couple of them.
There's a lot of ones that have only a few actual locations, even though you'd expect like hundreds of places that they could go. They'll only spawn in like 5 locations, and when you're doing the same objective 3 times, like for the Baneclaw Tomb one, I don't even know how many times I had to go to every one of those same spots because it kept bugging out and I had to keep restarting it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, like there was a quest there was a job that I was doing yesterday, and it was like protect these people while they get back to so and so place, and every single time they would like first time I show up and they're already dead, and I'm like, okay, it spawns from somewhere new. I show up. One of them decides to walk so far ahead that I can't keep track of them both, so I'm trying to protect one. The one in front ends up dying, and then I have to restart the quest again. And I'm like, screw it, I'll do a different job, because it's not worth it to have to keep doing the same part of the job 20 times.
Yeah.
Make it so you can survive people.
So people just don't like escort quests. Escort quests suck.
I don't like
quests suck in general, but that one sucks extra much.
There's a couple ones that work well. There's a lot of them that are just generally annoying and you might have to redo, and then there's a couple that are really annoying and almost guaranteed you're going to redo.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the problems with Firefall, and a lot of people have said this, is the tutorial just isn't that good. It doesn't hit on the points that it really should. Do you guys think that this greatly affects the strength of the game?
Yes. I'd say that they only need to give you some of the basics initially, you know, get out there, shoot stuff. They need to do that, obviously. They need to introduce you to the very basics, like operating your cooldown menu and some health, you know. But the problem is right now, it does you on this little ordered quest series, and then it still doesn't quite teach you properly that you have going out into the world and experiencing things on your own, but that's also hampered because there aren't so many things out in the world on your own. Also, there's been a lot of bugs with like dynamic missions just not even showing up on the map. Like I could be staring at an Ares mission and a Crash Thumper and my map shows nothing. So that type of stuff doesn't help.
So to be fair, when it comes to the tutorial, the tutorial is actually already telling you a lot. It's trying to explain the storyline about what the hell's going on and who you are and, you know, that stuff. And then it's trying to show you what the mission boards are. It's trying to show you what the mechanics of the game are. It's trying to show you how to use your call down menus and stuff like that. It's trying to show you how to thump. It's trying to... There's so much information in the tutorial that when you come out of it, you're just like, oh, wait, how do I do that again?
Well,
Shit.
They touch on the different things, but they touch on each one too lately. Like, cooldowns, as I recall, was... They don't even tell you properly, you know, the opening the window, scroll through this, left click to do this. They don't tell you how to organize and how to go through the cooldown menu. They tell you open the inventory and you can drag stuff. But that's not the best way to deal with it, in my opinion, for most things. So they kind of only barely touch on it. For thumping, they let you go out and they say, here, you're defending this thumper, and at the end, here's a thumper, here's a skin hammer, but they don't tell you how to actually use those things. Or it's like they touch very lightly on things, but don't explain each one enough for a person to go then know what they're supposed to do. It's like you're not sent to, you know, the dynamic objective. That mission that you're sent, they very clearly radio and tell you where to go. They don't say, we should look for missions like this and have you show on your map, hey, we're getting a request for an event down here. Sure, it's, you know, pre-scripted and not an actual dynamic mission, but if they make it so on the UI they show you the same way, then you'd at least go and start looking for stuff like that so you'd know how to find the actual dynamic stuff and do stuff yourself. The job... Searching for the job board, that one does obviously push you to the job board, which is clear enough. But for a lot of the other things, I think it's not enough.
Honestly, it's one of those things where you don't want to handhold them too much, just because, for example, when I played WoW for fucking ever. I didn't have to have something that popped up on my screen and went, hey, guess what? This guy with an exclamation above his head, you got to run to him and talk to him. I figured that out by myself. It took like 5 minutes. And then when it comes to, you know, going to talk to someone to sell your shit to them, guess what? Figured that out on my own too. Why can't people do that shit? Like, when it comes to stupid shit like that, they should be able to figure it out. And that's what a lot of people are complaining about is, oh, hey, how do I do this? Because I don't understand. Okay, well, it's right there in your menu, you know? Open up your menu and, hey, look, there it is. Or...
Well, here's the thing. Keep in mind that Firefall, its menu system is organized in a different way. Like the cooldown system, not quite what you normally have. There's a lot of things that people are, for me, it's secondhand nature. I've done this for the past however many years it's been. I know the system in and out. It's just automatic. My hand, I've got a mouse that I've got custom keybound with extra keys, so I can just quickly flip through anything I need in my menu. Your average person coming to this, especially from a shooter, not even used to an MMO, keep in mind, a lot of these things are new concepts to them that are then done in a different way from what you normally see anyway. So it's understandable that a lot of people have things that they're confused about. Another side effect of going for the mixed MMO and FPS player.
Yep, the shooter's the hard part. Is you have an MMO, and us normal MMO people, like I've played all the MMOs since Daok. I've played every single one of them, and I'm used to all this stuff. I think their tutorials, when I went through their tutorial when it launched, the pre-launch, because I've been a player for so long, it was great. For me, it was great. In their defense, it was great because I went through the tutorial that sucked really bad. I went through the tutorial where they put you in this room and they held your hand every single step of the way. They kept telling you what to do, and I was like, please make this stop. I just want to kill something. And when they introduced this tutorial and the lady started talking when I booted up the computer that first time, and she's like, here, go here in the real world. I'm like, really? I get to go in the real world? I don't have to sit there like an idiot and go through this other thing? I thought it was great. I mean, yeah, there are stuff that was missing that maybe could help out the shooter person, but the MMO person isn't going to have that hard of a time. And that was a great tutorial because I was killing stuff right away, and it showed me the Ares board, which was new, and that was great. I got to go to the Ares board, and I was like, oh, cool, I'll go do this. And I went and did this mission, and I did the thumping thing. Was kind of boring because I've been thumping for years, so I was like, oh, this is cool. I'm shooting stuff, and oh, look, I get loot and all this stuff. But for the shooter person, that stuff is stuff that's missing from the tutorials. Like you said, the how to use your scan hammer and how to drop a thumper is not told. You go in there and you have a scan hammer and you have a thumper. Here you go, here it is. And an LGV. Out of all the years I've played this game, I've never used an LGV, and I still haven't. And if Firefall's watching this, I want an LGV. That's
it's a level 25. Go do that in the Wheelhouse quest.
Well, what Defiance does, which Defiance, I will admit, has some very similar features to this game. Defiance, it's not so much about the individual classes. The classes, there's those 4 different abilities, and you're all the same class essentially, but you can only have one ability equipped, which makes it pretty boring, I will say, the classes system. But the shooter aspect of it is a lot better.
It is.
The first thing they hand you, the first thing that's like, here, have this. They give you a vehicle. They say, okay, here's your vehicle. Press V anytime, spawn it, hop in it, drive off. After a few seconds of not using it, it will disappear. Press V again, pop it down again, drive off.
And go blow shit up.
So, question. Just one little question. How much did you pay for that game when it first came out?
I think I paid $5 for it on sale, something like that.
Okay, so
this was probably a year after they'd released it, and it was on sale.
Yeah, so you got it on sale a year after release. You got it for free when it went free to play, and a lot of the people that... Well, no, I'm just meaning... Like,
well, a dev gave me it for free.
So a dev gave you a copy for free. And then a lot of people that have played it recently got to play it for free because it went free to play. The game started as a pay-to-play game.
Yes.
Of course they gave... Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It didn't start as a free-to-play game. So the fact that they gave you a...
Was it buy-to-play or was it pay-to-play?
It was buy-to-play.
Buy-to-play is completely different than pay-to-play. Just saying.
It was still $60.
It was still $60 freaking dollars. You paid $60 to have access to this game. Firefall, you pay nothing to have access to everything. So
and the DLCs.
You want a vehicle right off the bat? I mean, okay, so if you don't want to throw $20 into the game to have a vehicle to get around, okay, all right, wait till 25 till you can go get a vehicle.
Wait. They should totally give you like a really crappy mount, like literally, a falling apart rust bucket thing that you just pull out of
They
a
should
dump.
give you a vehicle that goes slower than
Something like
walking.
that. Oh, I know,
It's
great.
the
You know
It
those
would be
little,
fantastic.
you know the little text robots, the little rusted ones? Make it so your character just sits around and rides on one of those, precariously weaving around.
No, they should
Slower
give
than
you,
walking, but it would look hilarious.
They should give you they should either give you a Segway or a scooter, so you're embarrassed to actually load it up and use it.
No, I would love to ride around on a scooter, on a Segway. That'd be awesome.
See, I think
Mammoth
they
on a
should-
Segway, it would break, but it would look cool.
See, even if they give us 120% run speed or whatever mount.
120% run speed is actually really, really fast.
It
you
is?
run fast in Firefall.
Yeah,
But if
Your
you don't
run
have
speed is
internet speed,
actually
keep in mind
really
that does
good.
actually slow you a lot.
Something that's, noticeable, but not like game breaking or anything. Early game, just so you can kind of get the idea of LVGs and stuff. Because right now, I don't want to spend the 17. I bought $20 worth of red beans. I could either get 3 advanced battle frames by converting it into credits. This was before the whole flooding the market with red beans, or I could buy one good LVG off the red bean market. And I picked the 3 advanced frames because honestly, I'm having a lot more fun with 3 advanced frames. I'm an altaholic. I love, more classes, more classes, more classes. I love that.
All right, well,
But-
you still had 5 classes to play in general, and then your choice was to have 3 more, so that's 8, classes that you can play instead of a vehicle to get you around faster to help you level those first 5.
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out there.
But $20 is a lot of money to be spending on a mount.
And
You really.
here's the problem: is it gets you around faster, sure, but when you're riding, you're not shooting. Riding can be fun, but it's not shooting. And the part that you actually have to have a vehicle is the problem in itself right now.
Yeah.
Because when it's just, if there was at least creatures when you're running between places, so you have something to do, shoot, turn, shoot there, sprint 50 feet, hey, there's something behind that rock, kill it, that's better than, sure, you could still try and weave your, LGV through the stuff, but right now the problem is you're just go to objective.
They need to
Run
they need to
15,000
understand
meters.
they need to understand the MMO community of Squirrel. So as you leave town, you should say, "Oh my gosh, Squirrel, shoot!" And then as you're going, you shoot, and
And then you'll
that
find
kind of thing.
something
Because that's what
interesting
we
about
are. We're a bunch of we get really sidetracked, and new beta's coming out, and I'm going to go to this. Well, at least I do. I'm sorry. I'm downloading a beta right now. I'm sorry.
It's good. I've done like 60 betas, I understand.
Or the James Wood method. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
yeah,
Ooh, a piece of candy. But seriously, it's a joke, but I'm serious. If you can give us little snippets to be like, have you guys seen those small little sin thingies that come up out of the ground, and if you go up to them, you get a small bit of EXP? If they could spawn those more often, that'd be a lot of fun. I could see myself,
The Sin Imprints?
You mean the little random crates?
Yeah, those
Oh,
imprints.
yeah, the sin imprints, those.
Yeah, the little. If you could do some of those kind of things, if you could do more jobs as you're working, even if they could spawn enough jobs so that while I'm going to each of my events, I have a little event off to the side that I can go to and doing. That's gonna make my leveling experience faster, more enjoyable, and not feel so much like a grind.
Well, here's the thing: is that they do actually have a lot of that stuff. They've got those resource nodes that, if you destroy them, seismic anomaly, those things, some big creature comes out and tries to eat you. And if you're low
I
level,
ran
may
into
very
like
well
6
succeed.
of those last night. I streamed
I
for an
like it when
hour,
there's a
ran
lot of
into
those
6 of
things,
them,
but-
so...
Yeah, there should be
Those
things,
things
like
are
that.
spawning at a good rate. I'm not gonna lie, but most of the things
More
in this game,
things like
in my
that.
opinion, are not spawning fast enough. They're not spawning often enough. They're not spawning,
You're saying that they're spawning fast enough, but from my experience, I have not seen any of those because 90% of my time I've been in Devil's Tusk, not running around New Eden or Sertal, so I haven't actually seen any of those in over a week. So I'm not sure if they're spawning fast or not down there, but in Devil's Tusk at least, they don't spawn from what I've been able to see. So,
Yeah.
more
The
stuff like
Devil's
that.
Tusk area needs to be increased.
It
for
has a
spawn
lot of
rate
problems, I
stuff,
think, with
but-
how their dynamic systems work for spawning stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it is, but it just doesn't seem like they tied all those things in well with it.
Also, if there are new players watching, if you want to level up to 10 fast, the quickest way to level up to 10 fast, this is just almost stupid how easy this is. Go right outside Copacabana and just keep doing the freaking crash LVGs and crash Thunder quests because they spawn almost instantaneously. and they give so much EXP. You can get from like 1 to 10 so quickly. It's not even funny.
Also a good way. I don't know if it's necessarily a good way, but one way to kind of get around it. I don't know if they nerf the experience on it or not, but if you just pick up the driving, not mission, but if you go to the race boards, those are still in there. If you go to the race boards and then just drive in between towns and go to every single race board, there's a good amount of shit that you can do or experience doing that without actually killing anything. So if you've played the first 10 levels and you're utterly bored,
and it's a great way to explore the world initially and to do some fun, though it will get tiring. Because the problem was, like, before 1.0, they had drops with you'd get like 1 or 2 if you beat the record. You'll get like 2 items, so it meant that it was the best way to get loot in order to then salvage stuff, which meant that me and several other people were just running these things a ton, and when you do them a lot, they do get tiring, but they're a great way to initially expand and look around the world, especially for a new player.
Okay, so let's sit back and let's see what professional video game reviewers have said about the game. What are people who do this for a living are saying about the game? Okay, so first of all, I have PC Gamer. He reviewed Firefall. To be fair, he did two parts. In the first part, he didn't even know he could go into third person. Like, he had not... I don't think he spent enough time with the game to really know... He didn't really know what he was getting himself into, in my personal opinion. Because he didn't even know... Third person is, like, one of the first things that you can really do. It's really simple. You just hit the middle mouse button, like... it's really not that hard. But he brought up a lot of points that he's not wrong about. Like, as much as I want to hate him for it, he's not wrong about the things that he's saying about the game.
No, he's not. Like you said, I read that review, and he brought up some of the stuff that we brought up in this of some of the boring of walking and the Ares missions not spawning and stuff like that. It's a shooter, and they have to get it through their head that it's a shooter, and you want to shoot things and not run these ridiculous distances from one mission to the next mission.
One thing that I can say is, to be fair though, since those reviews have been written, and since people have been posting about it a lot on the forums, Red 5's looking into it. Red 5, it's the very first thing that they started saying right afterwards is, holy shit, guys, you're right. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and start throwing some more stuff in there. And then we're going to start fixing this stuff and that stuff. They have been receiving all of this negativity very, very well, and I think they've been doing it very professionally. They're one thing that's unfortunately that's one thing that's unfortunately being overlooked in a lot of these reviews and stuff like that is the reception of the community teams that are building the game. Which, when it comes to MMOs, that's one thing that you always want to talk about.
A lot of them have that thing where they launch, and it's like suddenly you don't hear from them. It's like, if they just drop the game because they expect it to flop? Yeah, or what's going on with it. But we're still hearing stuff, and we are still getting some patches. We still have to see the big patches that will actually properly implement a lot of these changes, but it seems like we can expect this stuff, hopefully soon.
Well, yeah, and if you look at the last patch notes, the patch 1. What is it here?
The 3.5 gigabyte patch.
The 1791 patch.
Yeah.
That patch note is pretty darn long if you look at it.
Yeah.
That is like probably almost 5 pages if I was to put it on 8 by 9.5 or an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. It probably would be 5 pages long. That is a lot of patch to be putting into a game. And I mean, granted, it's why you have to release, and there's a whole bunch of things to fix and whatnot. But at least they're doing it.
Yeah, and that's one thing to say about them is they didn't just release some shitty game that they don't expect anybody to ever play again, and haha, I got your money now, and runs away. No, they threw the game out. They're listening to the feedback, and they're going, holy shit, all right, let's work on this, all right, 3.5 gigabyte patch, here you go, a week and a half later. Keep doing it.
Yeah, if you want to be good at anything, anything. You have to be able to take constructive criticism, take your game sucks and this is why. If they say this is why, and the whole community is saying it, or a very large part of the community is saying it, listen to what they're saying and fix it. And when you do that, you get a better game, or better at tuba, or better at whatever. So to their defense, this isn't this is not a perfect game. This is not a 10 out of 10 game. This is not this is no Portal 2. This is no game of the year. But they are working on it really hard, and that shows really well. And I have to give them credit for that.
Yeah, their transparency is on the same lines as the old Dayoc and SOE. Have you watched their SOE? What is it? Landmark. When the dev goes and they tell you exactly what's going on with the game, and that's what I love about them is that they're telling you exactly what's going on with the game, and it's the transparency is great with them. I love it. And that's why I stick with them. I know they're having a rough time period, but I'm sticking with them because they do a good job of telling their players, "Hey, we're going to fix this."
Yeah, that was always one of my favorite things about Red 5, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next review is from MMORPG.com.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Pretty much. But to be fair, they gave this game a pretty good review. They said that this game, it's not the best game, but it's Firefall, the beginning of something great. It's right there in the thing. And I think that they're right. I think that they're 100% right. I think that if Red 5 keeps, drilling into the game, keeps fixing whatever is broken, people are saying, turrets don't have health, popping more health. If they can keep patching it, this game will become amazing. This will be at the level of, Final Fantasy 14 or Guild Wars 2. This will have the same exact quality, and this will be the same exact amount of fun as one of those, top tier, either buy to win or buy to play or pay to play games. But it's gonna be free to play, so that will encourage even more people to play, and we could see, 100,000 people online at once. That would be awesome.
Yeah. So I actually like that review. I like that MMORPG review. It was a very well done review, and I think it was fair. They pointed out a lot of the same things everybody else has been pointing out for valid, fair reasons. I guess I have issues with the other reviews just simply because they get a lot of information wrong. Specifically, IGN's review. Did you guys watch that one?
IGN's.
Yeah.
So IGN's review, they talk about the LGV, and thank God he bought the Founders Pack because the only way to get them is to pay for an LGV. It's not the only way. You can get a free one in game. I know you have to wait, but you can get several free ones in game.
Or you can just buy them.
And you can also get one
on
off the market. And then the other thing was PvP. Did not mention Broken Peninsula at all. Not one mention of it. The only PvP that he mentioned was outside of Sunken Harbor. That was it.
Yep,
just Sunken
I saw
Harbor.
that.
And it was just like, okay, given there are no arenas, there is not any kind of PvP that I would really, really, really love to play, but Sunken Harbor is not the only thing in the game. That's not the only form of PvP.
What is that, a quarter of the world's playable space?
Yeah.
That thing?
And the dude only got to level, 20-something?
In his defense on the Broken Peninsula, it is if you're not informed, and that goes back to the tutorial. If you're not informed of it, it's really hard because when I first got in, I was excited about Broken Peninsula, and I spent my first day asking in chat, where is it? Where is it? And then they were like, oh, go to the Arkfold. I'm like, what is that? I don't see it. It used to, an Arkfold used to be next to the Sin Tower. So I'm looking for this Arkfold, and it's not there. And then I had to go the next day and ask Firefall on Twitter, where is this at? And he said, go, up near Tuna Boat or whatever, and go in there, and it's right there. And yeah, you can go to Broken Peninsula there, but it wasn't. It's not.
I would like a key for that on the map when you bring up the map.
Easy. You have to get into PvP easy.
When you compare it to other games, it's not like when you first jumped into World of Warcraft, it told you, hey, would you like to go to Aractic Valley? Here's how you go there. No, it didn't tell you any of that. So I'm only drawing comparisons because it's something to compare to, and it's true. You know, you can't take all of this information that you would have liked to know and tell them you wanted to know that in the beginning, because they have to find what most players actually need to know in the beginning and get that information in there. The arc porter, that's something that could simply just be put on the map and, you know, just have a little tooltip next to it or something like that.
That's one of the areas that Firefall doesn't do quite as well, because in a lot of things, you know, you have to explore yourself. Like in World of Warcraft, I first get into, was that Orgrimmar? I'm going, you know, opening up, I run into this building. Hey, guess what? There's a shop NPC. I figure out what they're doing. I run into this next building. It's a bank. I run around, market house, PvP place. All these things have NPCs inside and stuff to actually do. But in Firefall, like, you get into Copa, if you start exploring the buildings, you'll find these buildings don't have any insides. This building, okay, you've got a little place to chat, but there's not really anything to do. So it doesn't encourage you to explore and find interesting things in quite the same way. You're kind of discouraged in certain parts, which the part that this thing's left underground, well, not underground, but underneath the pad for the dropship, makes it kind of hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go over the IGN review real quickly and actually talk about it. Let's talk about the Zero Punctuation, because Zero Punctuation, he's known to tear into games and just completely and totally rip him a new one. I mean, he will just, unless the game is really good, he will completely and totally rip it a new one.
Yeah.
And you know what? He ripped it a new one for its story, but he actually said the game was fun.
Yeah.
For him to say that a game is very fun is incredible. It shows the game's awesome potential. But let's talk about the IGN. They gave you a 5.7. Okay, first of all, I don't like number reviews. I think number reviews,
no, I don't like number reviews at all. If you would say recommendation, awesome. Like,
yes.
Cool. I would like recommendations. Don't give me a score, because that score is automatically, I'm automatically going to get it in my head. Anything below a 7 isn't worth playing.
Mm-hmm.
That is a bad way to market games. Bad way in general. If a game is fun, if it has some reasons to like it, give it a thumbs up. Recommend it. If it doesn't have anything fun, or if it's just broken as shit, give it a thumbs down. Or if it's somewhere in the middle, meh, it was all right.
Yeah.
There, 3. You only need 3 freaking, you know?
And IGN gave it a 5.7. The people, the player like commutative score right now is at 8.2. That is a 2.5 point difference. And 8.2 is a great game, while a 5.7 is not a great game. If you go by,
you're looking at the normals for those rating systems.
But that's a huge difference. And IGN, first of all, do not take any reviews from IGN. They are known to be horrible, and they are known to possibly do some shady things. Let's put it that way.
I think it depends on who the reviewer is. Like, I like Greg Miller, and I like the other PlayStation guy, I can't remember, Colin Moriarty. I like them, but for all of their PC guys and their Nintendo guys, I don't like any of their reviewers. I think I wouldn't say that they're terrible. I just don't think that they do a good job at reviewing their games.
I can think of one game that they reviewed very good because it was hyped up and it was a horrible game. I won't mention any BioWare games, but
BioWare is enough.
Okay, so that game was fun mechanically, okay? I'm just going to put that out there. It was fun mechanically. It was better than the first 2. But at least in the gameplay aspect, its storyline not so much, but that's personal preference, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, Yahtzee, who does the Zero Punctuation, he is known to completely tear into games, and he actually had good things to say about Firefall.
Yeah,
The fact that he didn't just like, this game is horrible, bullocks, whatever, and just say this game is horrible, is something really showing that it's a really good game.
Or at least that it's got potential or some interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
Because keep in mind, he drilled into the story, he goes into that, but he then keeps the part in focus that the gameplay itself, while it's got these other problems, the gameplay was really good. But then he also brought out the part that, but it did seem like it can start to get repetitive, but he didn't play long enough to see just where that went.
So I think one of the main things that he said about that was, we have yay much setting and yay much plot. I think that's a very valid valid thing to say. We have a lot of setting. You look around anywhere in the world of New Eden, and holy shit, like there's all kinds of shit going on. Like, oh, what's this? What's
Giant
this
ass coral
thing that
pieces.
used to be an engine, which is now an alien artifact? And what's this race over here? And what are these guys doing down here? And what's going on in this arena outside of Sunken Harbor?
Where did
and
the Iran and all these
what-
other creatures come from?
where did all these creatures come from? What the hell is Chris diet? There is a lot of setting.
Firefall
There's
has a
not a
plot,
lot of
and
plot.
that's
But then when
all
it
that I'm
comes to
willing to say
plot-
at this point.
I mean, the jobs, they do alleviate that a little bit. They give you something to dig into the storyline of the plots of the world with. But
I
what does
do
that
agree
in a
that part
better?
that you mentioned with Arrow saying, "No, we're not a contract killer. We're not a contract killer. Everything I'm doing begs to differ this entire time.
Yeah.
I've taken 5 jobs in a row that involve killing people."
And at what level does the main quest, like the
7.
main?
7.
Yeah, there's 7 of them. How? What?
No,
I
no,
mean,
no.
what-
Level 7.
No, it doesn't stop that early.
The campaign mission starts at level 7.
Oh, it starts at level 7. When does it end? It ends at like 25 or 30, doesn't it? Something like that.
27. 27.
If I recall, 20 was that 21 or 23 that you need to get into Blackwater.
But still, it's falling
Yeah.
short. If they could really,
need another
have some
chapter,
massive, I'm talking massive battle at the end of the campaign, that would be really cool. I mean, I know that there's some, to be fair, I haven't gotten that
You
far.
have the freaking Titan at the end of the campaign.
I mean, we do, but I would like to see, I don't know, I'd like to see that massive boss actually at level 40 and have it somehow really tie into the plot or really tie into something.
Well, the
And-
idea is this is chapter 1, so we'll start getting some additional ones and hopefully bigger, more epic stuff as it goes on. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I would like to see more instances, honestly. Did you guys happen to see the post by Elite on the forums yesterday?
Mm-mm.
No, been a bit busy these days.
He posted a picture of a grenade launcher that there is an item number for in the game right now. So you can type in the item number and look at this item. And it is a item that has a lot of poison damage on it. A grenade launcher that has a lot of poison damage on it and has homing rockets. That's not in the game right now. That's not in the game anywhere right now.
Why is that not in the game right now?
Well, hold on.
Game right now.
So what we're thinking is going to happen is the under. It used to be underwater. What the hell was that area called? Terracon, help me out. Big
give me a
seaweed
description.
things. It was one of the 3 areas that you could arc port into.
Again with an S.
Sargasso Sea.
Yes, Sargasso. So Sargasso has a lot of poison type mobs. So what people are thinking right now is that they're working on that next area already, and we're going to start to see that. Maybe not necessarily really soon, but we're going to start to see some of that coming up, which would actually be awesome. Like if we were to have that come up and then have some new instances and whatnot, oh hell yeah, dude, I'd be stoked. Because the poison stuff that's going to drop out of there, that also means that, hey, if we start to go to Antarctica again, ice weapons are going to start dropping too. I like the idea that every area is going to have its own unique kind of weapons like that. That's all speculation. That's all speculation.
I think that while they might do that in
But-
the long run, I'm pretty sure that for now all we should expect is working on the current areas and maybe campaign instances, but I don't think we're going to get a whole new world zone anytime soon.
Well, we don't know.
Oh yeah, we don't really know, but
Well,
yeah,
they should
They have
work
been
on-
very tight-lipped about everything, so...
I would rather see the fixes to the current gameplay over new content right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen them mention that that's our focus. Like, they'll be tight-lipped and not mention certain things, but I have seen some comments made about that's not what we're focusing on, that's not what we're doing. So I'm pretty sure that means it's not just, lightly on the back burner, but it's probably not actually planned for a little while at the least.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so do you want to start with closing thoughts about the game currently and state? I will say that the game definitely has potential. The game they're definitely walking towards what we're looking for. They're definitely making pushes in the right direction, and I think enough of that pushing constantly will get the game in a very good spot. Next.
It's fun. It's a shooter. It's a multiplayer game. Go play it. It's free to play. I mean, I don't understand why people need someone to go tell them to play a game. If it looks interesting to you, go play it. It's free.
It's Halo, the MMO.
Oh God, no,
No,
not
no.
at all.
I love Halo the
I wanna
MMO,
slap
don't get me
you.
wrong, but that's not Firefall.
No,
It's better than MMO. It's better than Halo as an MMO.
I like the combat mechanics of
I love
Firefall
Halo,
more than I
so
like
I
Halo.
can't. I'd say that Firefall is. Keep in mind, I've been playing for years, and even I have started to get to the point that I get, tired of certain things, like just thumping. It's still refreshing to go and just do it every so often, but it no longer will keep me going for a couple days.
Well, it's because we did it for however long. That's the only thing that we had to do when beta first started, dude.
And then there's also the resource times and stuff where it'd be just like spend literally an entire week doing nothing but thumping 8 hours a day. But so with all that in mind, I do still go in and I will still find thumping to be fun for a short while if I get a decent group of people with it. But the problem is that when I was building up a group, I need something doing the intermediate time, like finding a random group of chosen to kill, doing that stuff. The problem is that those little bits of between time, while I'm right now in the current build, especially in Devil's Tusk, I'm not getting enough general content, so I'm getting bored in that time, which means when I'm trying to, get these groups going, get the other stuff doing, these past like a week or two, I start to get a bit, and I might just log off and go do something else, like World of Planes or League of Legends or watch anime or something stupid, or just go for a walk. So I still am enjoying it. If I can shoot something, I love shooting stuff. Firefall does that well, but actually getting to the point has been my biggest issue. So they need to get the dynamic stuff working. Once they get that up, I'll be a lot happier with it. But right now I'm a bit below where I normally am with Firefall. Still good, not great.
Yeah.
But I think R5's working on it, so I mean, let's wait, and in 2 weeks we'll be coming back. We'll be talking about the game, we'll be seeing what patches have come out, and if there hasn't been anything, we're going to talk about how there hasn't been any updates and how off Red 5 is kind of dropping the ball. And
I'm seriously hoping that there is a functional update.
Yeah. But I think they're working towards it. I think we just need to give them time. And in the meantime, play the game, try to enjoy it as much as you can. Get to level 25, get your RVG, craft it, even though I've heard it's ridiculously expensive. But I heard the 41's like super, super expensive. So
yeah, that one's pretty
to
pricey.
be fair, I can't judge it because I haven't hit that high because Ultaholic, big PvE player, big leveler. So, I mean, to be fair, the leveling is like 90% of the content right now, and so I could just sit here and level for the next 500 hours if I really wanted to. But that's just me. Not 500 hours, but you know what I mean. Okay, so this has been Into the Melding.
Actually, one more thing to throw in there.
Okay.
Red 5 is doing a questionnaire tomorrow during their Firefall Live with Scott Youngblood, the lead designer of Broken Peninsula. So if anybody actually wants to watch that and ask him questions about what they're going to be planning on doing for that PvP area, drop in there, watch Firefall Live tomorrow, and check that out.
If I recall, there was on the Reddit, you can post questions for that too.
Yeah. So, like, tonight is your last night to post some questions on there. Just a heads up.
Yep. Okay, so guys, this has been Into the Melding. Don't forget to follow at MMORPGcom for the MMORPG.com stuff and all that good stuff. Make sure to follow at Sitting on a Couch Gaming for all the Sitting on a Couch end of stuff. Go to sittingonacouch.com for actually it's at SOAC Gaming. Sorry guys. But go to sittingonacouch.com to see this afterwards, to look over it again, and don't forget to go to twitch.tv/combustiblelemon and follow me because I'm awesome and I stream once in a while and I do interesting things and self-promotion, shameless. Alex?
What?
Nikito.
I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, but just follow the things that are right below us, right below our faces. You just go to the website, go to Karakon's website and follow me and Scary on Twitch, and go subscribe to Nikito on YouTube and all that good stuff.
Macchiato.
Macchiato. Sorry.
Keto. That sounds like taquito.
Taquito.
It's not funny.
Taquito.
I think it's funny.
No.
Everybody thinks it's funny except for you, which means it's really funny and you just don't think it is.
No.
Taquito.
Uh,
Now watch, you're gonna make a Freudian slip neck in 2 weeks and you're gonna call yourself Taquito.
I will never call myself taquito, okay? I find a lot of pride in my name. I like my name. It's unique.
it is a good name.
But yeah, make sure to follow. Make sure to subscribe to Sitting on the Couch. I think it's SOC Gaming on YouTube. You'll get to see this. You'll get to see all of the other podcasts we do. We do Guild Wars 2. We do all that kind of stuff. We do WildStar. We do all kinds of stuff through MMORPG.com and through our own means. So I would strongly suggest that you follow that, and you can keep up on a wide variety of MMOs topics and discussionary things. And I love discussion. That's why I'm here. Does anybody else have anything to add before we end?
No, I
I'm
think
good.
that pretty much covers it.
Okay, guys. I will see you guys all next week. It will in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, yeah.
It will be every first and third Thursday.
Second and fourth.
Second and
Yeah,
fourth.
second and fourth.
It's every second and fourth Thursday at 5:30.
4:30 PDT.
4:30 PDT, which is 7:30 EDT.
Hmm.
So make sure to come back here in 2 weeks, and we will see you all later.
Later, guys.
See ya.